Hello and welcome everyone. Good evening to all the history enthusiasts. Today, once again, we have gathered here on this very important topic for an e-lecture, importance of local heritage and culture for sustainable development. And today we have with us resource person Professor Vedalakshmi ji, Assistant Professor, Department of History, Government First Grade College, Tumkur. It is an honor, ma'am, to have you here, and I request the Vice President and founder of the History Enthusiast, Ms. Nidhi Katti, to kindly welcome the virtual gathering.
Thank you, Manali. First of all, every year India celebrates Heritage Week, and this year from 19th to 25th, we have celebrated the Heritage Week. It is actually being organized by ASI, Archaeological Survey of India, and UNESCO also has authorized this Heritage Week culture of India and ASI. So, regarding this particular Heritage Week, which got over yesterday, we thought of organizing a e-lecture on a topic which is very suitable to protect our heritage, culture, natural and both historical heritage and culture. And the title which our resource person is going to talk is importance of local heritage and culture for sustainable development. Our today's resource person is Professor Vedalakshmi ji. Ma'am, it's an honor to have you on the platform of the history enthusiast. Thank you so much for being here. We warmly welcome you, and we are looking forward to listen to your lecture. I also welcome Founder President, Ms. Manali Momaya, to this session, and all the executive committee members, advisory members, and our honorary president, Nandan Shastri ji. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And last but not the least, I also warmly welcome all our audience. After a long time, we have got the opportunity again to connect with you. So we hope for your active participation throughout the session. Thank you so much. Now I request Ms. Manali Momaya to read out the preamble of our constitution, as today is the Constitution Day.
Thank you very much, Nidhi. It is indeed a special day in the history of India. Today is the day that the Indian Constitution was enacted, and it was accepted as the law of the land, as the most sacred and highest document of India. And we have a lot of members, a lot of our forefathers to remember and thank for this day and for this very wonderful constitution that does justice to the aspirations of so many different kinds and different sections of society. So I take this privilege to read out the preamble of our constitution as a reminder to our national duties as well as our rights. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to read out the preamble. I want to take another privilege, that is to introduce our today's resource person. Professor Vedalakshmi ji, as we all know, is a assistant professor of the Department of History, Government First Grade College, Madhugiri District, Tumkuru. She has participated in many refresher courses and training courses. Especially, I want to highlight the Ministry of Education sponsored refresher course in research methodology, which was organized in 2021 at the University of Delhi. Uh, she has worked before present in from 2007 to 2022 as assistant professor of history at Government First Grade College Pavagad before joining the Government First Grade College Madhugiri, where she is in service now. She has attended and presented papers at several conferences and workshops, both national and international, and especially notice significant are the there's a paper on advances in collaborative research for economics, management, humanities, social sciences, and technology. uh, this international conference was organized by the university. I'm very sorry. She presented a paper on socio-economic status of women in India, a historical analysis, in this international conference, and challenges and opportunities for sustainable rural development. This is an international conference organized by the University of Mysore, where she presented a paper on awakening of rural mass and backward class activities in princely Mysore, held in 2017. Similarly, in 2020 International Multidisciplinary Conference on Issues and Challenges in Higher Education, she published a paper in the International Journal of Innovative Practice and Applied Research on analysis of higher education in India before and after independence. Madam has a very wide range of topics in her expertise, and she has published various articles and papers on different topics related to history, education, and society. She published a paper entitled Ethical Values in Indian Higher Education Challenges Ahead at Government First Grade College, Hunsur, in 2019, a paper entitled Indian Women in the Globalization Period in 2018. This is just to give a brief picture of how varied and wide the horizons of research of Professor Vedalakshmi ji is. She is a member of Itihas Academy, Karnataka History Congress, Karnataka Government College Teachers Association, Tumkur History Teachers Forum, and several other professional bodies, including the South Indian History Congress, Puducherry World History Congress, and so on. She has also participated in several extracurricular activities. She was the NSS officer of the Government First Grade College Pavagad, the coordinator of Women Empowerment Cell at the same college, and additional chief superintendent of examinations at Pavagad. She is also undergraduate BOE member for the Department of History, University of Tumkur for the year 2016 and 17, and thereafter at the Government First Grade College Gubbi, which is an autonomous college, for the year 2019-20. She has also served as the additional Chief Superintendent of Examinations, educator at Karnataka Public Service Commission, Bangalore, and LMS coordinator at GFGC Madhugiri. It is an honor to present to you all Professor Vedalakshmi ji. And without any further ado, I now request ma'am to kindly begin the lecture and enlighten us on the importance of local heritage and culture for sustainable development. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. And Miss Manali Mamaya has introduced me very nicely. And here I would like to thank Miss Manali Mamaya and Nidhi Katti for providing this opportunity to speak with you all here in this platform. And I also thank Mr. Nandan Shastri ji, who is the senior member of this particular organization. So I thank him for welcoming me here in this platform. Here they have introduced me very well, and I agree that I have worked on many topics, and I have presented papers, and I have attended conferences and all those things. But now I am pursuing my PhD on the topic called as Digital History, a historical and analytical study in India since 20th century. So this is my favorite topic, which I am actually fascinated with, and I am loving it. So here, in that context, or in the background of that particular topic, I'm here to present my ideas to preserve and conserve heritage and culture, and also to carry that forward to the future generations, who are actually no idea of what is history, what is culture, what is value, what are all the ethical things. So all those things which they need to understand in their future life, uh, this is our responsibility, being historians or teachers, whoever are there in this platform. It is our responsibility to make them understand, by preserving and conserving these things for them in future. So not delaying much, so I would like to start my lecture on mm, local heritage and culture for sustainable development. So here, we have two concepts like local heritage and culture, and also at the same time sustainable development. So local heritage is what we have at home. So what are all the things which we follow, what are all the things which we do at home. So it is all local heritage, our practice, our tradition, our way of dressing, our food culture. So whatever you can mention, so they are all local heritage, and that is the representation of us. So when we say proudly that we are Indians, India indeed represented by all these things like local heritage, and what are the practices, traditions which we follow at our home or locally or regionally. So we are represented by that globally. So that is what makes us different from others. That is what differentiate us from others, and elevate us, we can feel proud of whatever we are following. So that is what I mean to say in this particular lecture. And I just want to have inclusiveness, like inclusiveness of youngsters, that is a student community, and at the same time public in general, in the job of preserving and conserving local heritage and culture for the future generation. Next one. So here, local heritage and culture means, as we all know, that it is our historical places, our historical structures, architecture, monuments, palaces, whatever we can mention in history. So they are all our heritage, and antiques are there, and oral traditions are there. Some festivals we follow, so that is also under the local heritage and culture, which actually represents us. And we have architectural wonders also, like Kailas Natha temple of yellow and all those things. So they all comes under, they all actually include in local heritage and culture. So these aspects, why they are very important and unique is, so they actually gives us insight into our life. And also, like our forefathers, what were they, what they were doing, what actually they contributed for our this present day, and allowing us to understand in a better way their beliefs, their accomplishments, and their hardships, what they went through to see us here today in this present scenario. So these are all the things which we come across when we understand local heritage and culture. Next one. So heritage means So what is heritage is, like, as Nidhi said, it is a historical, tangible, intangible heritage also is a heritage, and some natural heritages also we can found. So they are like, we can say historical and natural heritage. So in tangible heritage we see temples, monuments, forts, epigraphs, manuscripts. And in intangible heritage, like folk tradition, what we follow in our region, and their culture, their way of dressing, their way of singing, dancing. So they are all under the intangible heritage. And even our language and dialect comes under intangible heritage. And our culinary, like the food which we follow, the food, as we all know that India is very diverse in culture. And we have food culture to each region. So each region has its own food culture. And we have handicrafts like painting, weaving, and embroidery, painting, like as I mentioned here, Ganjifa art. So that is a very unique art, which I found to know in Nasik coin museum. So that I was actually fascinated with. So Ganjifa art is there, painting is there, and even our agricultural practices, so they are very unique. And it is according to season. So that is also one of the heritage of our Indian culture. So these are all the things. So it is a kaleidoscope. Actually heritage is a kaleidoscope which have the colors of all these tangible and intangible heritage things in it. So we have rich heritage and culture with us. And what bothers here is, so this is not being understood by the younger generation. So they are actually into some other things, like western form of life, or westernization has influenced them more. So all these things has put our heritage and culture in danger. But we, being the responsible persons for all those things, so we have to make them understand the importance of heritage, and what it actually teaches us, and how we can understand our ancestors through heritage and culture. So these are all the things which we need to help them out in understanding. So this is how heritage is understood according to me here. And the next one. So here, when we say heritage and culture, it has got its own components, and we can understand culture and heritage through all these components. So what are all those? Is like, it has got its own historical roots. Like, we have all families, so that lineage itself is our root. And for a single family we have our own lineage, and we have our own pride in saying that we belong to that particular family. Like that, those families, they form the culture and heritage of India. And India indeed is represented by these lineage families, dynasties, and ruling communities, royal families. So all these things, which is a very root of our heritage and culture. And we are identified by our own language and literature also. Like over 120 major languages are there alive in India. And more than 1600 dialects are there in India. And each region has its own regional epics and folk tales, folk dances, folk songs, and folk culture it has having. So that is how language and literature is represented through heritage and culture. And we have our own arts and crafts also. Like, we have our classical dances such as Bharatanatyam, Kathak, Odissi, Kathakali. And each is rooted in ancient tradition and mythology. So we have this kind of dances and ancient traditions which is rooted in our mythology itself. And we have arts like miniature paintings, tanjore paintings, and many more paintings are all representing our heritage and culture, and we have a uniqueness in all of these. Next one. Continuing with our components of heritage and culture, so we have very unique kind of religion and rituals associated with religion. So here, India is a very diverse country, and it has got religious diversity too. And it does not mean that it is all different, but in that diversity we have unity also. Like we mutually respect each other's rituals, each other's festivals, and we celebrate each other's festival, so which makes our country united. So here, like festivals celebrated across the country in a multitude level, and diversity is not a reason for not being united. So here, religion and rituals making people to unite together, and in spite of diversity we are all united because of these festivals and rituals. So that is again the representation of our Indian culture and heritage. And as I told you already, culinary traditions, they also play a very important role in uniting us and making our heritage and culture very rich. So Indian cuisine is the reflection of country's diverse geography and cultural influence. Here, in our culinary, we use several herbs, spices, and we do traditional type of cooking, and that unique flavor makes Indian cuisine very different. And here, meals means it is family bonding and socialization. So here, culinary tradition plays a very important role in family bonding and socialization, and making people understand together, making people being together and bonding them in a social condition. So culinary tradition also plays a very important in our history, heritage and culture, and that enriches our heritage and culture. Next. So as we all know that our India is a very diverse country, and it has got its traditional clothing too. So the attire worn by the people is different in different parts of the nation, and it is a testament of cultural diversity. Traditional clothing reflects both regional identity and a sense of cultural pride. So they feel pride among the other people, like they feel proud of their traditional clothing. They identify themselves with the region. Like they are associated with the region through this traditional clothing. So that is what making our heritage and culture very rich indeed. So modern expression of culture. So here, in spite of all these specialities, all these uniquenesses, like modern expression of culture is also there, where our tradition, every day it is very dynamic and constantly evolving. And what is making it evolving is IT revolution, which is leading to the emergence of globalized youth culture into like a blending of traditional values with the modern aspirations. So the youth here, they understand the importance of culture, and they value the traditional things in our country, and also they have their own aspirations according to the modern times. So here, these are all the concepts or components which makes our heritage and culture very rich and very unique among all the cultures of the world. Next. So here, India's local heritage and culture are the source of pride and fascination, embodying the essence of unity in diversity. So our culture is diverse, but we feel united because of our heritage and culture, and this is the source of pride and fascination for Indians. And what matters here is the preservation and promotion of this heritage and culture. So here the important thing what we have to understand during this lecture is the preservation and promotion of these rich traditions is very important. It is not just the testament to the past, but it also guides for the harmonious and sustainable future. So here we have harmony in our heritage and culture in spite of diversity. So that is very important, and that leads to sustainable future. And youth will be very proud of all these things if they understand this kind of heritage and culture in their life and value it, in their course of time. So this is what we have to understand, and we have to promote our rich traditions, and as part of testament of past, and also to guide the harmonious and sustainable future for the younger generation who are awaiting for a bright future. Next. So here, as part of our heritage, oral history is also one of the most important thing. So oral history is like our memories, our stories, our experiences of the elders, and our folk tradition, folk songs, folk tales. So all these things comes under oral histories. So here recording of oral history is one of the major thing which we have to do at this point of time, because it is the need of the hour. So as in oral history we mention experiences of elders. So elders are actually, they are passing, they are all passing away. So if they do not share their experiences with the youngsters, or youngsters do not listen to the experience of the elders, so it is once gone, it is gone. So for that purpose, the recording of oral history is very important. Oral history projects has to be taken up, and this is done through audio records and recordings, video interviews, narratives of the past, for the safeguard of all these oral histories. And this offers us the insights, and here we have all the things included in oral history, like our customs, our struggles, our joys, everything, like whatever is there. So that has to be recorded for the future generation, because the elder people, they are actually they will not remain for long. So that has to be taken care. So here oral history plays a very important role, and this has to be taken care through recording, through audio video interviews, through the oral history projects. So here oral history is very important to record for the future generation. So that can be done with visual documentation also, like videos also can be recorded, and photographs. So they are powerful tools for capturing the live performances and ritual celebrations of the regional festivals, regional what fests, and what we can call as jatre, and all those things can be captured live through videos and photographs. So that is also a part of preservation and culture conservation of our heritage and culture for the future generation. Next. So here comes the next concept, sustainability. So sustainability is what we mean to say here is the cultural sustainability. So cultural sustainability is the process of preserving, nurturing, and transmitting cultural heritage and practices and values across generations to ensure their continued relevance and vitality. So here, what we are doing with from cultural sustainability is we are passing, preserving first and nurturing that, and transmitting that cultural heritage to the future generation with practices and values, and it is even relevant today. So that relevance is there with culture, so that is why we are passing that to the future generation. So that vital nature and relevant nature makes culture and heritage to be sustainable, and indeed it leads to the sustainable development of a country. And it not only serves to protect the past but also contributes to the enrichment of societies in the present and the future. So here, it is not the past what we are dealing with, but it also contributes for the enrichment of the society, and in present times and also in future, because it is relevant and it has got values, and it is very rich in practices, traditions, and the younger generation can learn lessons from these heritage and cultures. So it is relevant even to the present and future times also. Here, how we can empower, how we can sustain the heritage and culture is by empowering the guardians of heritage. So who are the guardians here is, in this lecture I mean to say that two things, or two components are the guardians of heritage. One is the younger generation or the student community, and the second one is public in general. So we have to include these two communities, that is younger students and also the public in general, to to guard our heritage and culture. We have to make them feel responsible towards the heritage and culture, because we being the minorities, like historians or history related people, we are all minorities, and the vast heritage and culture cannot be guarded only a small community like us. So we have to include our student community and also public in general to guard the heritage and culture of our country, and also make them feel responsible towards the heritage and culture, and pass on to the heritage and culture to the next generation. So here, what we can do is incorporating digital history in school curricula. What is digital history means? Researching history through digital methods is called as digital history. So what I mean to say here is, like this incorporation of science and technology and computer kind of things in making history very interesting for the school and college going students, and integrating technology and history together through virtual tours and interactive timelines and audio and video clippings of the great personalities of the country, and making them feel very interested in these kind of historical things. So that may inculcate interest among the youngsters to go further in the field of history, and make our history and culture saved for the future generation. So that has a chance of carrying our heritage and culture for the future generation, and that too in a very technological point of thing. So technologically we can carry out history to the future generation. So next thing is like a cultural literacy. like we have to make our younger generation to have knowledge of local traditions. Like we know the general kind of festivals, like what is that, Yugadi, Deepavali, Navaratri, and all those are like general kind of things. But locally, some traditions and festivals, feasts, so everything are practiced on certain occasions. So that local tradition has to be taught to the younger generation, to and we have to make sensitize these younger generations regarding their own culture, their own celebrations, their own traditions, their own art and architecture. So those sensitization kind of things can make younger people give much importance to their localities and local history and local practices, so that can be carried out for the future generation. And some art forms, like some weaving, some threading, some like toy making, so all they are art forms which they actually follow in at their home, in their family. So that has to be brought out for the younger generation to like learn it very enthusiastically and learn it with very happy kind of thing. So that has to be literated for the younger generation. And even our languages, so the people nowadays, they feel that their own language is very inferior for them because of the influence of this western education, or English as a medium of instruction and speaking and communicating. So all these things makes them to feel inferior of their own language. So that we have to take out from the minds of the youngsters to make them feel that their language is very unique, and it is the form of communication which they actually followed, and their ancestors actually followed. So that cultural literacy has to be brought for the younger generation. And here a very new concept which I came across during my research work is andragogy. As we know, pedagogy, like it is art and science of helping school children to learn, like the same in the same methodology. One another concept, andragogy, is been coined by Malcolm Knowles in 1968. And what is the definition of this andragogy is the art and science of helping adults to learn. So what we have to make them learn is like these kind of things, like technology and history has to be taught to them, and their local traditions, their art forms, their languages. So that we have to make them understand and make them learn from the concept of this andragogy. So here andragogy believes in experimental learning. So what flipped classrooms and experiential learning, interactive and collaborative approaches. These are all the new concepts which nowadays it is very popular, as like only theoretical approach cannot reach the students or the pupil in the classrooms. So these kind of concepts like experiential learning, flipped classrooms, interactive and collaborative approaches have come up, and it's a very good sign of making the students to understand the concepts in a better way. Like if they experience the things what they are taught, so the thing will go into their minds very clearly. And interactive timelines will make history very interesting, and collaborative approaches like computer science and history can gel well. So these are all the kind of things which through students we can actually carry out heritage and culture to the future generation. Next. So here continuing with the same part, like as I told you, the another community which we need to include in the as the messengers of heritage and culture for the future, so they are the general public. So general public can be included through public campaigns, like we can create awareness campaigns among the public in general, and we can have a group of people for workshops, seminars, and also we can exhibit the things which are very valuable in terms of heritage, and we can make them ask them to preserve these kind of things at their home. So we have people who are having a sense of preservation of their family valued things, like their ancestors, they have some kind of things which they feel that that has to be preserved for the future generation to come in their particular family. So that kind of awareness we have to bring among the general public through campaigns, workshops, seminars, and exhibitions, and all kind of things. So in that way we can include general public in the preservation of heritage and culture in general. And we can also use nowadays media and communication, like social media, as we are going online. So this is also a kind of social media. So social media platforms can amplify the message of heritage and preservation through their documentaries, articles, and podcasts, and whatnot. So media and communication also can be utilized for the kind of preservation and conservation in terms of our heritage and culture. And also community empowerment, so empowering the community with knowledge. Like here I would like to mention a project of the Mythic Society Bangalore, 3D conservation of the inscriptions of Bengaluru. So that is a particular project. So what it is making is making the Bengaluru people to understand their area importance. They are actually sensitizing the people to their own history, and with proof, like they have an inscription of their own region. So they are reading that inscription for the sake of understanding of the people. So all these things are made by the Mythic Society project, so which makes community feel like empowering, and they know what is their region is, and how important the region was, and what are all the contributions given by their region. And they don't know about all these things. So that is their actually that is their they feel bad about not knowing all these things. So if anyone tells about all these things, they obviously feel excited to pass on those informations to the future generation. So that community empowerment has to be carried out by the people like us, the intellectual people of history. So the next thing, uh, participatory approaches. So who has to participate here? So the general public has to participate in the decision making kind of thing, like decision making regarding the preservation strategies, and their voices has to be heard, and their concerns are to be addressed. So with that, so they feel responsible, and they feel sensitized, and they feel like they are participating in conserving and preserving their own history. So that makes them more responsible, and they can carry out the heritage and culture for the future generation to come. And our cultural festivals and events, so as we all know that like our government will organize so many cultural fairs, historical fairs, like Hampi Utsav, Talkad Utsav, and all those things. So they actually create awareness among the people. They heritage walks also can be organized, workshops can be organized. Here all these things can wider the audience and like showcase their heritage, and they feel very proud of their heritage and culture, and they can carry out the things further. So these are all the things which makes public inclusiveness. This can make public to feel inclusive and carry out the cultural heritage for the future generation. So here, who is responsible for this preservation and for the sustainable development? So that is the question which arises in front of us. Here, uh, only the government has to take care of all these things, means it is actually a blunder, because government alone cannot do all these things for the history or for the preservation of history. So here what can be done is, like, government agencies makes the policies and programs for the conservation and preservation of the heritage and culture. And so many history enthusiast organizations or NGOs, like you people, so they also participate in preservation and conservation of history. And some academia people, they actually bring to the light the historical things for the public and for the people around us. So here everybody's role is very important: government agencies, NGOs, academia, and also we can have crowdsourcing, like Hampi University manuscriptology department actually has done this very intensely, like crowdsourcing of manuscripts. They literally went door to door to collect the manuscripts, and they have collected some 5,000 bundles of manuscripts. Later I'll show the photograph of that particular department. I have it here. So here crowdsourcing is a very important thing which plays a very important role in preserving and conserving our own past. Like we can collect manuscripts from the public, we can collect the like artifacts, we can collect the historical things, coins, and whatnot. Like we can have museums kind of thing by the collection of the public. So crowdsourcing plays a very important role in preservation and conservation. And here public participation in data collection, like as I told you, so data can be collected through public participation, so that data can be utilized for the study of history, or to conduct research in history. So that is a better thing, which is a collaborative effort. And here partnership with the technological companies for advanced digital techniques, like as I told you, Mythic Society has undertaken epigraphical conservation project. So here, Artex Space Spider is the scanner which they use in their scanning of epigraphy or inscriptions. So that company is associated with this particular project, and that is going too well. And they have already completed the task of digital conservation of almost all the inscriptions which are in Bangalore and around Bangalore and in Ramanagara district. So this partnership can actually be utilized for the conservation and also for the preservation of culture and heritage. And this indeed leads to the sustainable development of the country. So collaborative efforts can go well with the sustainable development. Next. So in conclusion, what I can say is, there are so many challenges also, like as I told you, crowdsourcing, like so who will give their own particular things for the sake of preservation, for the sake of a museum establishment. So that is the challenge again. And public in general, who will support for all these things? So that is a challenge. So challenges remain. So here whatever we do, so the challenges arise for us. So challenges are there everywhere. So apart from that, addressing them through collaborative efforts will further enhance the role of students and public in shaping more sustainable cultural future. So here what I want to conclude is, like, with the support of students and public, we can have sustainable cultural future. And finally, like, their involvement in conserving local heritage and preserving their particular tradition and culture, this leads to sustainable development. And it can be accomplished with the support of student community and public in general. So these are all the things which I just wanted to mention here. But there are some particular things, like what are all the applications can be used for preservation and conservation, what are all the things which can be helpful, digital kind of thing in making research in historical field. And all those things are there already, but here I could not include that in my lecture. So here what I just wanted to mention is, like, some of the applications, like Google Maps are there. And for data collection, we have a app called as Epicollect is there. And for reconstruction of anything, there is a application called as Mesh Lab. And we can utilize Wikipedia. And Internet Archive is a great source of like a digital books and audio video records. And as I told you, Artex Space Spider is a 3D scanner which can be used to scan inscriptions and all those things. So many Adobe softwares are there, so which can be used for analyzing the data and all those things. And 3D modeling is a kind of thing which can be done through photogrammetry. Like any building can be 3D modeled using photogrammetry application. And virtual reality is there, augmented reality is there. So these are all the things which are in particular digitally, we can conserve and preserve our heritage and culture for the future generation. So apart from that, I would like to mention here some projects, like digital Humpy project is there. Like it is the project which was taken out by International Institute for Art, Culture and Democracy. And it is a preservation project of Humpy. And this is a very good project which demonstrate Humpy heritage very well through digitally. And I have an example of young students. They're participating in revisiting and restudying the inscriptions of South Canara region, like a college in Udupi. And the teachers of it and students, they actually are revisiting the epigraphical sources of the region, and they are republishing all those things and restudying those inscriptions. So these are all the things which are the examples of preservation and conservation with the participation of younger students and also public in general. So I think this idea would work if we actually execute this idea in our working places and around us. So if we practice these kind of things, so that may lead to the sustainable development in general. So this is the thing which I just wanted to convey in this particular lecture. So I hope I have um, given some useful points in this particular lecture. So in further slides, I have some examples which I wanted to show. The next thing. So this is the Indology department of French Institute. So where I visited last month, and they are actually conserving the manuscripts physically, and they even digitizing these manuscripts and studying this through digital apps. So that is one thing. Next. So this is what I spoke about manuscriptology department of Hampi Kannada University, and they have collected all these sources. As I told you, they went door to door and they collected these kind of manuscripts. So they have around 5,000 bundles. So there are many leaves, but bundles are 5,000. And in the Puducherry Indology department, we have 8,000 shy white manuscripts, which they are conserving and digitizing. And this is a Mythic Society 3D conservation project of inscriptions of Bengaluru. And this is the setup where from collecting the source and till the publication, they use only digital kind of thing. And this is the map which shows about the inscriptions situated. And they have some icons to represent the lack of inscription and the loss of inscription, all those things, like with different icons, they represent the inscriptions which are in danger, or which are actually lost. So all those things they represent with different kind of icons. Next. So this is again physical conservation of manuscripts in French Institute, Pondicherry, and a particular manuscript room is there. Next. So this is again in Pondicherry French Institute. So this is archive actually. They have the photograph of each and every temple in Tamil Nadu, and they have archived it in such a way that it is very useful for anybody to study here regarding the Tamil Nadu temples. So this is archives of Pondicherry. So, and these are all the monuments of Hampi, and this is the photograph taken by me. Monumental preservation and conservation is an example of Hampi, and as I told you, it is also digitally preserved through Digital Hampi project. Again, the monuments of Hampi, watchtowers and Lotus Mahal. And this is particularly a copper plate which is mentioning the power change of power of a village head from one person to another. So it's a very readable, and we can understand what is noted there. So that particular it has got some two sheets of copper, so on which they have written all those things. Like we have even witnesses signed there. So that is a particular copper plate which is there in Hampi University, again manuscriptology department. So this is all about the heritage and culture and its importance and the sustainable development. So thank you so much for providing this opportunity. I hope I have reached you a bit, and I have many things to say, but this is like a time constraint thing. And in further lectures, I may reach out to you with different kind of things. Like as I told you, I am doing my research on digital history, so I can talk on that in future lectures. So this is what I just wanted to convey. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you, Nidhi, and thank you, Manali. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much, ma'am. You have highlighted various aspects of cultural heritage, cultural sustainability, and given us a holistic and comprehensive picture of how various stakeholders of our heritage have to participate in this particular preservation and conservation campaign. And it was really very informative and engaging lecture, ma'am. Thank you very much. This opportunity to learn from you. If you give us the permission, we can open the stage for discussion for 5-10 minutes, if that's okay.
Sure, 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 Manali.
So, if any of the audience members have any questions, kindly put it in the comment section. I see Nidhi has already posted a question. Nidhi, if you will read it out.
Yeah, sure. Ma'am, I have a question. What tools can be used by general public to preserve the tangible and intangible culture, heritage, or traditions uh, in general? Because in today's 21st century, the youth actually is getting more attracted to the Western culture. In fact, Korean culture, Chinese culture, all these things. Example, it may be a simple recipe of the house, or jewelry which has a huge history, which is transferred from a grandmother to her granddaughter. But due to the modernization, the young generation is not willing to those kind of older jewelry, or are not preserving many of the recipes too. Example, in our house earlier, there used to be a recipe called muttige. It was like ancient cutlet recipe. I think in other families also it may be there, but from our generation, nobody is preparing that recipe. Only like we know that it existed, our grandmother used to do. So such kind of heritage cultures are getting absorbed in the past. What tools a general public can use to preserve it, and how we can spread that awareness, particularly in youths?
Okay, Nidhi, I understood your question. First of all, I would like to congratulate for the recipes which you have in North Karnataka. Actually, I am a big fan of all those things. I really like the food available in that particular region because it's so variant and vibrant and very hot kind of thing and all. So, first of all, I'd like to congratulate you because you are from there. Second thing, as I told you, these culture and heritage has to be valued by the younger generations, so they have to understand the difficulties, their sorrows behind what we are there today, right? So that difficulties has to be understood by the younger generation. So if they understand that, automatically they will respect, they will preserve, they will carry forward that to the future. So that is what I understood from studying all these things. So that has to be valued first. The second thing is how they can actually use to preserve and conserve is the simple thing is photography and videography, right? So oral folk song, folk dances, and festivals, fests, all those things can be videographed, and orally, if they are saying, that can be recorded, audio recording can be done. So simple thing is, like, if they do this particular thing, simple thing, videography and photography and audio recording and all those things, so that is more than enough to preserve our local heritage and culture. So that is particular thing. And there are some advanced apps also there, so that actually is a paid kind of thing, so that cannot be afforded if they are not much interested in recording all those things. So the simple thing what they can do is audio video recording, photography, videography is more than enough to preserve our local heritage and culture. So this is what I found.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. And if I may add to this, rapidly changing trends, because trends change every day now. It is the era of social media, and songs and food trends and everything. It changes so rapidly, and we are getting everything at the touch of a finger or a click of a button. So the idea of laborious preservation and conservation may seem daunting to the younger generations, because they do not have the experience of toiling for something like that as the previous generations. But I think it is very necessary to preserve the cultural heritage, because today what we are seeing, the changing food trends, is also part of the cultural heritage. It has come down from somewhere, and if it has to continue, there is a reason, there is a very strong reason to safeguard these cultural heritage, not only about the culinary heritage, or maybe music, it may be performing arts, it may be any number of things. And as a student of archival studies, I also know the challenges of door to door campaigns, which you were mentioning, ma'am, earlier. There are a lot of people are very suspicious, they do not give their documents easily. And even I have heard of stories where they have let the documents go to waste, they have burnt the documents, or they have simply washed them away in the water, but they have not given it to somebody else, fearing that the other person might use it in some harmful way. So what the departments of culture and manuscriptology and other historical conservation they are doing in this regard is very, very commendable. I also have a question of my own, ma'am. There's a great urban rural divide in India, actually, when it comes to cultural sustainability. Both cities and villages have their own cultural systems and heritage. And now there's a mad rush for everything modern and everything urban. So the villages are shifting to the status of cities. But in this process of urbanization, we are jumping a few steps, and we are forgetting to document and record the old traditions of the villages. They are getting lost. And today what we are seeing, there's no assimilation, there's simply we are erasing of some part of the culture. So how can that be stopped? How can we ensure that that doesn't happen?
It's a very good question. As you said, this is a shift, and the people who are staying in modern cities and who are craving for modern life and all those things, they themselves are having their roots in some villages. So that they have to understand, and that they have to recognize. So their parents most probably they have like migrated from villages to some city areas, and for the sake of education of their children. So that is their purpose of migration. But they have not forgotten their roots, they actually remember that. But the people for whom they have migrated, they forgot all those roots. So one thing is like the parents also have the responsibility of making them understand where they are from. So that connectivity has to be built by the center generation, like younger generation and the ancestors, and in between who are there in the middle generation. So they have to connect the younger generation to the roots. So that is what I feel here. Because uh, why we are like jumping some steps is like we don't know what we are, where are we from. So that has to be like told to the younger generation by the people who know it. So that is what is the answer for your question, Manali. So I think I made it clear.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. And it definitely also goes with the linguistic heritage, because now we are having English education, and many of our younger generations, they do not know our own language, our own mother tongue, that is Kannada, and maybe any other language, whichever it is. I, for example, if to give a personal example, I have my ancestral roots in Gujarat, Kutch, and I was very fortunate that my parents taught me both the languages. That is my mother tongue from Karnataka, Kannada, and my mother tongue from Gujarat, both Kutchi and Gujarati. But that doesn't happen very often in the present scenario. There is also this particular value attachment. We attach more value to Western languages compared to our own Indian local regional languages, and that also has been a deterrent to the cultural sustainability and preservation of cultural heritage. So through our platform, through History Enthusiasts, we are requesting the audience members, viewers, uh, our languages have a very, very rich history and culture, cultural heritage. We have contributed volumes, billions of volumes to literature, and in no way is our language inferior to any other language. I think all languages deserve respect, and it is our sacred duty to safeguard and promote the use of local languages as much as we do English.
This is what I just want to add, that connectivity what I spoke, so it has happened in case of you, because the parents, they have understood the value of ancestry, so they have taught you both the languages, and they have made you introduced to both the culture and heritage, all those things. And what the regarding language, what you spoke is, the feeling of inferiority makes people not to continue with their mother tongue, so that is actually is happening. So it is not the thing, like we have to see the environment where we can use our language, like with common people, it's no wrong to speak in our own language, so we should not feel inferior, and we should not feel low to speak to our own language. So this is what I just wanted to convey, and hope everything went well. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and if there is any other question, so I'm ready to answer.
No, ma'am, there are no more questions in the chat box, but if we receive any further questions later on, we will convey them to you. And once again, from this side, I want to convey my thanks, my gratitude to you for introducing us to so many new concepts in relation to cultural sustainability and heritage. And there are so many different methods and campaigns that we can undertake as youngsters. I'm sure Nidhi is up for some of those things. We can organize them in the future. So, yes, I think we have got the inspiration to take up more conservation and preservation activities. Of course, we need more training and guidance. And whenever we need guidance, ma'am, we will look up to you. So kindly guide us. Uh,
Definitely looking forward,
yes.
anytime, anytime.
Yes. So, on behalf of myself, Nidhi, and all our audience members, I want to propose the vote of thanks. Thank you very much, ma'am, for this very enlightening lecture. And it has been a very wonderful experience listening to you and interacting with you. I also want to thank the founder, vice president of the History Enthusiast, Ms. Nidhi Katti, for being a wonderful co host and for being an active participant throughout. And I also want to thank our honorary president, Sri Nandan Shastri ji, who had joined us throughout the lecture, and all our audience members who joined us, who have asked, who have actively participated and who have paid attention. And I want to mention the name of Dr. Teresa Rossetti, assistant professor and head, Holy Cross College, Tiruchirappalli, for joining us today from there. Thank you very much, ma'am. We will see you all soon with another lecture. And if any of the resource persons are interested in presenting book reviews, our platform is open to you. We will be very much happy to host you as well as to learn about new historical literature from you. So, thank you all once again. We sign off here.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, young girls. Thank you.
Thank you,
This is
ma'am.
a great platform, and I really appreciate the enthusiasm you show in the field of history and conservation preservation. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.